Hey family, welcome back. It's been a little while since we've been here, but we're back one more time for another episode of the Bounce Back Podcast. Amen. I'm Dr. Wyatt, and I'm with my lovely wife and co-host,
Miss Paulette Wyatt. Hi,
Yeah.
family. Good to see you. It's been good to spend some time with you. Miss you guys.
Yeah. So today our episode is gonna just be like a check-in episode. So today's episode is just what's on our hearts, a real-time check-in. Um, we have some exciting things planned for you in the coming weeks, but today we just wanted to touch base with our family, let you know how we're doing and what's going on, and prayerfully from that, we are going to have some insights that I think will bless you. So it won't be a long episode. Do we still got music playing?
No, I don't hear any
Okay.
music.
Yeah, see, I'm getting all crazy. Yeah. So we're gonna just check in with you. So Paulette, what's going on with you? Where are we gonna where are we this week? I'm gonna let ladies go. Ladies go first. Where are you this week? This month? This week or this month? I'm gonna talk about this month. You could talk about this week.
I'm going to talk about this one. Wow. Where am I? So a lot has been happening. I'm sure you know if you've been on my social media feed. You know that May has been a very celebratory month for not just me, but for my family. As you all know, I graduated about 2 weeks ago. It's 2 weeks now, right? 2 weeks ago with my master's in education, literacy education. And the following day, our firstborn son, graduated, which is bachelor's from business analytics. So we had a big celebration. We had family and friends that came through to show their love and support. So it's been very celebratory. And so for me, where I am mentally, I think life tends to go fast, so I'm kind of in between. There's very reflective. My educational journey, my bounce back educational journey has been an 8 or 9 year journey since the time I decided to go back to school and do education up until this point. So it's been a long journey. I remember when I started TJ was going to high school and I graduated college. So I'm very reflective, not just on that journey, but my life's journey. So I'm very reflective on that and appreciative of it. And at the same time, I'm excited about what the future has for me, has for my family. There's things I want to do. There's more things I want to learn. So I'm kind of like in between the reflective piece and the looking forward piece. So right now I'm really in the middle of that. So I'm really trying my best at this moment to be present because I know, like in life, sometimes I can go back to a few years where it was really bad for me emotionally, and life has its ebbs and flows. So I'm learning how to how to appreciate the highs as I push through the lows. So right now in this high celebratory moment, I'm very reflective. I have a heart full of gratitude, not just for what God has done for me, but what He's done for my family. When I look back at my family and our kids and the life we've created for them, I'm just very grateful. So I'm just really in this moment trying to be present. So that's where I am.
So let me ask you, because the coach in me just kicked in. So what are you reflective of in particular, if you can share that?
What am I reflective of?
Yeah, you reflected. So it's a celebratory moment.
Yes.
So you said that you're reflective, which I understand. But it also seems like you are struggling with feelings of sadness or
yeah, because it's the end of a chapter of my life. The professors and the relationships that I've built, every semester I would see a certain set of people. So I mean, even that's a whole chapter, not just going to school, but that whole chapter, that growth chapter, it feels like the end of a chapter. And so you do grieve certain moments of it, but I'm grateful for the journey. So yeah, that's what I would say. I'm reflective.
That's cool. So because we end in revival, and you get those kind of those same feelings too. So it's good to hear you say that. So with celebratory moments, um, you are saying goodbye
Yes.
to, because I remember when I graduated as well. Yeah, you're saying bye to professors
Yeah.
you won't see as much anymore. Some professors you won't see
Classmates,
again. Some
cohort.
professors you'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying bye to classmates. You're saying bye to rhythms of life,
Yes.
going to class, being in different discussions that you enjoyed, and so that's all being saying goodbye. You're glad you have accomplished your goal. You're glad that, and you're saying hi to paying back loans and stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot that goes with that journey. So yeah. So
And
you say you have to be in the present. Go ahead.
yeah, no, no, no. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad you asked that question because there is a sense of anxiety. And a lot of times people assume anxiety is a negative emotion, but you can have good anxiety, you can have bad
Wow.
anxiety. And so there's a sense of anxiety, but not in a negative way, where I've spent all this time preparing. So now, after the
Mm,
preparing, it's time for me to really do the work. I'm prepared, I'm
yeah.
equipped, I know I am, and I have the support of my family. So now it's to looking at, doing the work. And sometimes preparation is easy because you have people guiding you and going along the way. But when it's time to do the work, there's a level of anxiety,
Yeah.
excitement, good anxiety, because I feel it's a new chapter that's beginning where I'm going to be learning new things. It's I know I'm going to be connecting with new people, and I'm excited about it. But it's uncharted territory because now it's time to do the work as opposed to
Wow.
being prepared for the work.
Yeah.
So there is a level of anxiety there. But
You said something big there. You said there's good anxiety and there's
yeah.
bad anxiety. Explain that, because yeah, because
Um,
somebody might disagree with you.
because
So
a lot of
explain.
times we
We
assume
always assume anxiety is just bad.
right, like anger, like
Mhm.
uh, uh, I think the big misconception that we've been taught, and as we teach social emotional learning, we're learning how to teach each other how emotions are not necessarily bad or good; they're emotions. And like everything has a bad and good part to it. Just like, sometimes, for example, yeah, there could be a good anxiety. So, I sing. And so, sometimes they say that nervousness you're feeling, that anxiousness you're feeling, they say when you don't feel that anymore, then you got to worry.
Mm.
But sometimes if you feel that little nervousness, that anxiety, that actually, allows you to know that, um, you need to I need to lean on God in those moments and to know that He's got me. So that's good anxiety. So
Okay.
yeah. So
That's
I believe that there's good anxiety and there's bad anxiety. Anger, for example, anger is the
it's just a feeling,
release.
right?
It's a feeling.
Right.
And so I have to tell my kids sometimes, I'm angry. And I have to say, and
Mm.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be angry because sometimes there's a shame that comes with that feeling. And it's hard for us to acknowledge and express. But if you understand it's an emotion, we're able to acknowledge and work through it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
This is great. Well, I haven't read the book. It seems interesting to me, so I don't want to call it great yet. But there's an interesting book out called Unanxious. It's
Mm,
about this guy written by Humble the Poet. And he did an interview in the Breakfast Club the other day, and he
right.
talked about how anxiety is simply a feeling, that we
Yes.
shouldn't even claim anxiety the way we do. Like my anxiety, I
Right.
have anxiety. We don't necessarily have anxiety. We feel anxiety, and anxiety is a signal. It's actually speaking to us, sending us a message. I feel unsafe here.
Right.
I'm feeling a certain way, and then to either begin to build resilience in those feelings, learn how
Right.
to adapt. So that's great how you said that. So I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't say there's good anxiety or bad anxiety. It's you can do something good about anxiety,
Right.
or you can do something
I
bad about
agree.
anxiety.
Right.
I think that's so cool. So for me, yeah, the month of May has been really every time May comes, and I think you do this more than me because you're more aware of what May means for me. So
Right.
May, everybody knows 11 years old, my mother passed away. So when May comes, sometimes I consciously grieve and sometimes I unconsciously grieve. So sometimes I'm grieving, I don't even realize what's going on. But it's been so the month of May, over the last couple of years, has always been somewhat bittersweet. So on the
Mm.
bitter part, it's like reliving the grief. And for most people, their mother doesn't die on their job. My mother died at my job.
Right. Right.
Right. So my job is that I'm a pastor. It was May 18th on a Sunday morning. My mother passed away. She came to church that day, and before we could get into a service, she had passed in the church. And this year, 11 years after this year, all the dates aligned again. So whether we were
Right.
talking about the day she passed away, May 18th. I remember I went to the church this year on May 18th, and I really didn't feel like being there, but my sense of duty made me kind of come to church and be faithful to the task. Then the 25th was the day of her funeral. We actually had to go to a funeral that day,
Right.
and actually helped
Mm.
ministering to other people and being there for another family going through grief
Right.
actually helped me not to focus on what that day meant. And I could tell that other people in my family were going through similar struggles,
Yes.
whether they said it or not. And then the 27th, that Tuesday, and then it was Memorial Day. And then the Tuesday we buried my mom, and
Even
so
Mother's Day. Even
even
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day,
We acknowledge Mother's Day.
right,
That
right,
was her last day
right.
in
That was her
service.
last Mother's Day,
She
May 11th.
hosted that service actually.
Right. So all the Sundays in the month of May, when all of the dates fall in line, every Sunday, almost all the Sundays except one, but May 11th, May 18th, May 25th, all have
Yes.
significance. Right. She was the woman's president, right? And
Right.
so she led the service that May 11th. That was her last. It wasn't her last time in church, but it was her last time leading and being part of worship. Her last time in church, she came in
Yeah.
her gold. It's just she had a gold
Yeah.
hat, she had a gold
And she
dress,
asked you
gold
to
shoes.
preach. Remember?
Yeah, for Mother's Day.
You
Yeah,
preached
you
that
did.
Mother's Day. Yeah.
I don't think she didn't ask me. I just as
Really?
pastor, I took pastoral preference, and I'm so glad
Really?
I did because the sermon I preached that Sunday was a sonnet almost to her. I
Yes.
gotta find that sermon and share it with you guys one day.
Yeah,
I
it was
preached out of the book of Genesis. I talked about Jacob and his mother Rebecca, and how
yes.
Rebecca saw things in Jacob that other people didn't see, and she set him up on his destiny. And then
Yes.
he got his blessing, and he never saw his mother again. And I had just been pastor for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of recognized myself in Jacob in many ways, the good and the bad. But having a mother who saw in me things other people didn't see, and then have her put me in, set me up to be in the place I am. It actually, as I tell her, makes me grateful for where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I don't. I struggle with being grateful for my my place in life, my responsibilities, even my roles in life. But when I look back to those moments, I realize the Lord used my mother in that way
Yeah.
to be a blessing in my life. And then I never saw my mother again, and well, I saw her the rest of the week. But that was my goodbye. That was my spiritual goodbye
Right.
to my mother on May 11th. So every May, but this particular May, we had to kind of roll back the curtains and kind of
Right.
walk the rhythms again.
Yeah.
And I was very aware of it, which was good. So being aware of it helped. So that was that, right? So you had that, and then you had the celebration. And so while you're doing that, you celebrating and you're genuinely happy. Like I was really excited for you about your master's degree and your 4.0 journey. That's amazing. And I was very happy. I was happy for you. Happy for you for several reasons. Happy for you for the accomplishment, but also happy for you because I knew what that would mean for you to be the smartest person in the house.
I still don't think I
long, and for so long, you didn't feel that way, right? you talk about your academic challenges. You talked about being in grade school, and I won't tell your story unless you want to. But you've had challenges along the way. You didn't see yourself as being a really smart person, but here you are, after hard work, finding your passion and your calling. 4.0, you got the chords to show. Right? So I was very proud of you, but more than proud of you, I was happy for you because nobody could take that from you. So I'm very, so very happy for you. Very proud of you. I don't know which one is more. I think more happy for you than because now you could tell yourself a different story.
Right.
And then I was proud of my son TJ and then even for TJ, like I remember my college journey. My college journey took me forever. It was 5 years. We did in about the same amount of time, but I didn't officially grad. So I walked in 1998. I still have 3 credits left to get. I started working, then we fell in love, me and you, and so kind of got distracted and didn't get the 3 credits until a few months before we got married. We got married in June. I think I got the 3 credits in May of 2001 because I wanted to get my degree before we got married.
When it framed, remember?
Yeah. I don't know if we got it framed, but I got the degree. You know what I mean?
You did.
We definitely did get it framed later, but I didn't want to necessarily have it framed by the time we got married. I just wanted my degree by the time we got married. And so I felt like I struggled academically in my undergrad years. I think we all did, all of us, and that's a whole nother program that we could do one day.
You would never known.
But we all struggled.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't just me, it was me, you, it was all of us who were coming from like PK houses, pastor kids, and trying to navigate church life and being in school. And I think for most people, being the first one in your family kind of to go to college, for me, that was the case. My mother didn't go to college. My dad didn't go to college.
Right.
I was the first one. Not uncles maybe, but in my nuclear family, I was the first one. Right. So I was navigating everything brand new.
By yourself.
And I realized with TJ, my son, part of the success of his journey was that we can help him navigate.
Right.
Him and Abigail. So that one of the beautiful things, and this is kind of through the Africana lens, like when I see you walk across and get your honors, and I feel like you felt this way when I got my master's degrees and my doctorate, that it wasn't just mine, but it was yours too. Like
right.
You put some skin in the game.
It was our journey.
It was our journey, right? So me getting my MDiv, I see those pictures today. I know I couldn't get my MDiv without you and the kids. I know I couldn't get my demon without you and the kids, without you pushing me and telling me I'm going too slow and all those good things, right? So when I walk across, I'm getting the regalia, and I'm getting the degree and the paper and the little book. But really, that's for all of us. And I felt the same way for you. To see you graduate, to see you walk across the stage,
right?
To hear your name called, to see the other students honor you the way they did. You were like you push you in the front because in your school you had to call first because you were like how would you describe it? Because I want to make sure I describe it carefully.
What happened with lining up?
Why they put you in the front?
So we were all lining up. We had the sign, the person holding and so it was like a lot of people in front of me. And next thing I know, everybody started U-turning and I was in the front. So I turned around and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Why am I in the front? And they were like,
so they started walking behind you?
Yeah.
Until you got to the front? Oh, yeah. Wow.
They said, no, we're going back. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know.
So they all talked about that before, probably.
I guess. And then when I said, what are you doing? They said, no, Paulette. You're like the mother hen of our cohort, and we're your little chicks. So we want you to go out first. I was like, stop!
It was very special. It was very special.
You know. And I remember when I was in undergrad, the same thing happened. It was like 3 of us who were the same age and were moms, and they were like, we want you 3 to go. So just the way they really honored that really, really meant a lot. Really meant a lot.
So when you're in an academic, I love academia. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And I love to be in school, but it's a reason why. It's like, it's the cohort thing. But again, if you look at it through the right lens, so that Africana lens really lends for us to understand that when one person goes across the stage, they're representing themselves, their effort and their work.
Right.
But a family helped them get across. There's a family who helped, to help them to make sacrifices. The family, you're making the type of the family is.
And that's how I felt. So like when I got out there, I didn't even know the camera was there so you could see me walk out, but I was looking for you guys. I wanted to see you. And even my friends were like, where are they? Where's your husband? Because, everybody knew you. Like, where's your husband? Where's your kids? Because I always talk about you guys. And so when I spotted Abby's hair, I made sure I pointed and I shouted y'all out. And they started waving for you guys too, And even when I walked across the stage, I made sure I could see you guys and blow kisses to you because it was us. For me, it felt like it was
us did it. Us did it.
Us did it.
Us
did it together. Yeah. My tribe, and my tribe was there, And so it really, really, even your dad being there was special, along with my parents, because your dad
we're all part of the journey. I even thought of my mother because you said you credit my mother with being one of the first ones to kind of acknowledge that teaching was your gift and that you should be a teacher.
In 2009.
You remember the day, you remember the year. So it's special. So even the ancestors, my mother's an ancestor now.
Yes.
But even she was a part of.
I believe she was there, along with.
You don't get us in trouble.
I mean,
no, but I hear you.
I acknowledge that.
You believe she was there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that. So that was it. So it was dealing with my grief and then dealing with the celebration and putting it all and doing it all at the same time. And learning that it's okay to have moments when you're sad. And even in the celebration, that's what life is. Life is about not just, you're never going to be one thing, especially as you get older. Even at we had a big party for TJ and yourself. And even then, you're missing mom. But like I said, you believe she's there. I believe her spirit was there. Her presence was there.
Yeah.
It was there. We could feel it. And and it was just having aunties come. Came. My cousins came, church for it was beautiful. So that's been there. And then you got revival. Excuse me, I had to grab my pen. So then we just had revival last week, and when revival comes, I always feel a particular people look at me from afar and they probably think I handle things really cool. But in those moments, I really put a lot of pressure on myself. You talk about anxiety. And I know what it's from. I know it's from expectation. Okay. So you learn to. I get it from in those churchy moments. It's a feeling. It's a expectation. I think I put too high expectation on myself, and it's and a sense of maybe somebody else. I've overcome that a lot. So this year I was able to say, you're the pastor in this moment, and you're supposed to be the pastor in this moment, right? As opposed to in previous years, in big moments like that, feeling like I'm an imposter. So when it comes to being pastor, a spiritual leader, I feel a sense sometimes of imposter syndrome. And only recently have I come to understand myself as really deeply spiritual, just in a different way than. I don't emote like most pastors in our circle. You're supposed to be really emotional, really charismatic. I'm much more introspective. But my introspective gives me a lot of spiritual depth. And I'm realizing to appreciate that about myself. And so it helped me this year. And then, with the special guests we had, both of them, whether it was Blanco or whether it was Brother Blanco or Pastor Nick, they have that other side of the energy. So where I could be, kind of introspective, you had the passionate presentation from there's that kind of balance it out. But so like you were talking about graduation and that sense of kind of let down, and so that's how I kind of felt today. Right. Revival is over.
I did too. Yeah.
What I'm hearing from everyone, and I didn't, I gotta really pray, because what I'm working on is just understanding that there's no big or small moments. It's just moments.
Moments, yes.
That build on each other.
Right.
Because I want heaven to come down but people were really blessed by this revival. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that. It did seem special. The revivals this year has seemed special. The revival we had in DC seemed special. Yeah. The revival the Easter season seemed special this year. the prep for revival, as
Yes.
well as, you know, the actual revival itself seem to be special. I'm getting used to the idea that most of my audience is viewing me online or viewing the church online and being okay with that.
Right.
It feels a little embarrassing sometimes
Why?
because it's the Brooklyn church and everybody expects the Brooklyn church to be full, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's not full, but it's
Mhm.
full online. The
Yes.
YouTube is the YouTube is crowded.
Yeah.
YouTube is crowded. And so not just me, but a lot of other pastors, we just getting used to the idea that you don't see your members.
Right.
And sometimes it's a hit to the ego and you have to kind of deal with that. So that's where I've been. And then dealing with aging. Like this month,
Really?
yeah, just dealing with the fact that, we was at the restaurant last night and I needed to borrow your glasses to see the menu. And people are noticing my limp and my hip. And
Mm.
I'm having these moments where I know I'm having these moments that I can't. Some of the stuff I could talk about. Some of the stuff you can't talk about. It's your doctor or your wife or a close friend. Like I'm experiencing this or that. But so You said me and you were talking just the other day, yesterday, and you told me how you identify with was it Marlon Wayans? Not Marlon.
Yes.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans.
Marlon
How,
Wayans.
he's in his 50s now. He's looking back on life. He
Yes.
realizes he's lived more now. He has more years behind him than in front of him. So he can really live. But you have to kind of come to grips with that fact. Like we're about to turn 50. So that means
technically in our 50th year because you celebrated after.
Technically, right. So unless we're gonna live to see 100, we've lived past, and most people don't. So we live past our midlife. And so just grappling with that, with the fact, like this month as I'm preaching, I was doing one of my classic moving around the stage as I was preaching, and I was doing it with a limp, and I said, let me just go back over here to the pulpit. So now I become the flat-footed preacher as opposed to the preacher that moves around the stage. So these little things, and so that's where I am, dealing with celebration, dealing with grief, dealing with revival and leadership, but so it's been a journey. So that's why sometimes 1 week you see us, 1 week we don't, because May has actually been a crazy month. But hopefully we'll be more present. But that's where we are. So what's one insight that you gather from all of what we've been talking about that you think? What's one insight that's been helping you?
What's one insight that's been helping me?
Yeah, with the journey you shared, what you've been going through, the need to be present. You've been sharing the celebration with the bittersweet levels of it.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, we talk about. What are the insights that help you? You want to think about it?
Yeah, let me think about it.
All right, so I'll go.
Yeah, share it.
For me, the power of friendship and community. We had a whole episode about that.
Yes.
I really need it. Because if I'm left to my own devices, I will talk myself into depression. I do it a lot. I will talk myself because we Pastor Nick and Sister Sharon were with us, and I was like thinking about all the things about the revival and the services, and like you say, I'm focusing on all the things that could be better. Not even better. It's not even the right term. Could be different.
Right.
And they're just seeing the positives, right? And I'm like, wow. And they helped me. And I think you too, to be positive, right? To see, so friendships, being with family, seeing the family, seeing Auntie, seeing cousin Bernie, big cousin Vernie on my mother's side, big cousin Kimmy on my dad's side, being knowing that you're part of a family. Pastor Mom, First Lady Gail, and like we are part of a big family.
Big family.
And we all have our struggles and our issues, but we're not alone.
Right.
Not only are we not alone in terms of having people around us, but we're not alone even in our experiences, right?
Right.
So like me and you are married and we have our life together over 20 next week or 2 weeks from now. It's about 10. Well, let me see. The 16th. 2 weeks from today.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be our
I didn't even
anniversary.
know.
2 weeks from today will be our anniversary. We'll be together for 24 years. And so that's a journey. That's at least 3 marriages, right? Like every 7 years you redo. But we
Right.
have friends like Pastor Mull and Pastor Gail who in July will be married 24 years. And
24
we got,
years.
so we have people who've been walking the same journey. And so we have, whatever we're going through, they're going through, like almost literally. It's crazy. Right? In those ways. And then growing up in age, I got Vernie there. Vernie's 2 years, always 2 years ahead of
Right.
me. And Pastor Mullen, I think. And
Mhm.
so we can laugh and talk about those things. And so you're never alone. There's a song that
Right.
says, "Never alone. I don't have to worry because
Oh,
I'm never alone." And it's talking about God, of course, but it's also I think
yeah.
it's not just about God, it's about community. It's about family. So for me, what's been the biggest insight is I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And I think I said this earlier, you never deal with just as you get older, you learn it's not gonna be 100% happiness and
Right.
100% sadness.
That's just life.
Life is on a fulcrum. Life is on a fulcrum.
Right.
It's like one of those seesaws. And it's never fully down and it's never fully up.
Right.
It's always kind of like this,
Yeah.
a bit more sadness. And so just learning to appreciate all of it. Um, and even appreciate. We were talking on Sunday about Saturday about rekindle, restore, ready. That was our revival theme. And we were talking about restoration. Just one of the things spoke to me is my teaching. It spoke to me. There's no such thing as wasted years.
I was gonna.
That wasted years. Oh, so let me stop talking. But wasted years, or what feels like waste, is actually a seed.
Right.
So
That was big
there
for
are
me.
disappointments. There are things that seem to feel like it was a waste of my time, right? But no, it really wasn't. It's just a seed for what's coming next in my life. So that's the insight that helped me. What about you?
If I would have to take an insight, definitely community is a big thing for me, but you nailed it. Being appreciative of the journey, like you said. So, you as I reflect, and at this age, you reflect, and at times you regret. I coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I think now, as I reflect back, I'm more appreciative of the journey, even the rough times. The times, there were seasons. I think I was sharing with you the other day. You know, years there was a season of just loss. Loss. We were losing everything. Jobs.
Babies,
uh, parents, all in the same season.
Yeah.
And
Innocence,
yeah, all in the same season.
Right.
10 years ago, 11 years ago. It was the same, 2014. And I remember during that season, and even where I was spiritually, it was a lot of regret. It was a lot of shoulda, woulda. But now that I look back, I can I can see how that season and the journey, has made me who the person I am today, you know. And so if I didn't go through that, I won't necessarily be the exact same person that I am. So I'm grateful. Even the moments I don't understand, I don't have answers to, because there are moments, there are seasons that you will never get an answer to, you know. I'm still appreciative of the journey. And with this revival, I think it really blessed me. To um, it took me back to the relationship I had, when I first came to Christ, when I was young.
Wow.
That innocence, that knowing he's there, knowing he's not by myself. I'm not by myself. So I mean, that's what, not just the revival, but within the last couple of weeks, your grace conversations have been very impactful to me in terms of understanding and rediscovering, or maybe learning who God is, Yahweh. You know
Who
he
he
is.
is.
Yeah, who he is. Yeah,
Because
Yahweh.
Yahweh means he is. Yeah.
And
Who
rediscovering
he
that for
is.
me
Yeah.
has been like a spiritual awakening for me. And so yeah, so I'm just in that, and in even in this awakening for me, I'm reflective of the times where I didn't know, I didn't think he was even there, and in those moments knowing that yeah, he was there, so yeah, just being grateful for the journey, not being regretful, but being grateful for the journey.
Awesome.
That's been my insight.
Cool. So we're not gonna stay on long. What is one word of encouragement for the listeners? What's one word of encouragement?
What is one word?
I'll tell mine one word of encouragement. You tell yours, and then so you go first. I'll go.
One word of encouragement I would tell you is that life is full of seasons, and they begin and they end. One of my favorite songs, one of my songs that I like to play, we jam a lot in the car, is Only One Night Though. If you cry, you can have an emotion. You can be angry. You can be sad. You can be confused. I cried all night long, but it was only
Only
for a
one
night.
night though.
Because joy comes
Yeah.
in the morning. And it sounds very cliche, but life is full of seasons. They begin and they end.
And they begin again.
And they begin again. And so as you go through your season, whether it's a sunny season or a winter season, just know that whatever you're going through, it's only for that time, and and you will always see the other side of it. Sometimes we focus on being in the middle of it, but there's a back end of it where we can look back and see, yeah, that was for my good.
Wow. My word of encouragement. Thank you. That's pretty good. That's one of my favorite songs too. Joy comes in the morning. I don't want us to get in trouble. But my word of encouragement might come from a song too. It's an old hymn. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking from you. And for me, what that signifies is the fact that no matter where you're in, what season of life you're in,
right,
just take it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
That the month of May was like that for me. Sometimes you get sad where you don't even want to get up in the morning, but you get up, you make your bed, you go about your day.
You put one foot
in front of the other. Amen. And God is walking with you when you walk.
Yes.
There's another song that said, "Keep on walking with your limp."
I never heard.
Yeah, you have. Keep on walking with your limp. I think that's not your guy, McReynolds. I think McReynolds wrote that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So those are my words of encouragement. So yeah, we're not gonna stay long. I'm excited about what we have planned for in a couple of days. I do want to invite Pastor Nick to be a part of it. This month we might invite a couple pastors for the month of June. I want to invite Pastor Nick and his wife, if she wants to, Sister Sharon, to join us and talk about the revival and what it meant for them, and just get some conversations where you see pastors and their friends, two pastors and two pastors' wives talking. And it's funny how he's a pastor, I'm a pastor, his wife is a teacher, my wife is a teacher. We have a lot in common. And then I want to introduce everybody in the coming weeks to my professor, one of my favorite professors. I have a lot of professors, but this is one of my favorite. Well, there's how many professors you would say? I have my Old Testament professor. That's who I want to introduce you guys to, Dr. Cleotha Robinson. He's actually he's the head of a department at the Hartford Institute of Religion in Connecticut, and I want to invite him to talk about a book that I was reading called God Has a Name. He is an eminent scholar in the Hebrew and Semitic languages. Also, not just Hebrew, but Aramaic. Yes. And when you talk about the fact that God has a name, is deeply rooted in the language. But I think that book, not that book, but the Exodus chapter 34, verse 5-7, is revolutionary when we read it afresh with fresh eyes.
Yes.
And so I want to bring him on to talk about that. What are some things you're excited about in the coming month or two for our show? that you want to let people know?
Oh, I'm like you. I'm excited about the friends that will be joining. I'm excited that you'll be doing it on location in a few weeks.
Where am I going to be?
You're going to be in the West Coast.
In Portland. Yeah. Cam meeting is coming, y'all. So yeah, this is going to be a crazy season.
So a couple of episodes, he will be on vacation.
Yeah, right now we kind of in the same room. You can't tell, or maybe you can. But yeah, I'm gonna be.
So we'll be moving around. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, maybe we'll have some episodes by the boardwalk or outside.
Yeah, we could do that too. We could do some beach episodes.
You can people watch with us.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about just having our growing.
What's up, cousin Charles Presley? He said Charles Presley. I can tell. Okay, you can tell. Okay, we finally got some comments on the board.
What? Really?
Yeah. Wow. I want to know what he's responding to exactly though. What did I say that he said I can tell? But anyway, but yeah, good to see cousin Vernie. Yeah, cuz what can you tell? What talk to me so I can understand what you're talking about. You said I could tell.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's cuz right there.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, he responded.
Oh, in the same room. Okay, you can stay in the same room. We gotta change up. We gotta change the game somehow. But you know our house. That's why. Yeah. But, yeah. So that's y'all keep communicating with us. Let us know how we can be a blessing.
Yes.
And maybe we'll invite cousin Bernie. He's another pastor too, and we're all doing ministry and everything like that together, and hopefully we'll all be an encouragement to each other as we keep it moving. But we're gonna say goodbye now. Keep on living.
Yes.
Keep on going day by day, step by step.
Put one foot. Keep on putting one foot
for the other,
and one for the other. Yeah.
And keep bouncing back. What he said? He said it's the mantle. Yeah, it's the mantle, y'all. Yeah, we got a mantle. All right, folks, keep bouncing back.
Keep bouncing back. Love you, family. Take care.